So I'm officially done with the first DIY Model 3 Highland PPF. And look at that. Oh my goodness. Yo, welcome back to the channel, whether you're a long-time viewer or a new subscriber. I appreciate every single one of you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I've been waiting for this day or a couple days because it's going to take about 2 days, maybe 3 days to get this job done. I'm going to wrap my Model 3 Highland in a PPF, and I've been waiting for this because you won't find too many companies out there that offer a DIY setup. And I think DIY is the way to go because yes, it won't be perfect, but also you get a professional to do it. It won't be perfect, and you're gonna save a ton of money doing it yourself, spending some quality time with your vehicle. And I've done a PPF on my Model Y, and I've done it a few times on the Cybertruck. I'm still not, to the point where I know like, oh, it's gonna be absolutely flawless. No, not even close to that, but it will be a cool experience and, something that you can really be proud of once it's done. I found a couple of the companies out there that had like I would say, an inferior product. So I'm going with none other than T-Raps. I saw what T-Raps had to offer, and I went and I got a swatch book so I can choose the color. I wanted to see the color in person, and I went with this, right? Look at that. That's gonna look beautiful. I wanted something different. I usually go with a pretty neutral color, but I wanted some pop. Came with a couple of squeegees to help out, so that's pretty cool. But what I like about T-Raps is it's affordable, it came fast, and like I said, it's one of the few companies out there that offer it, right? They've been very communicative, and I love that, and I need that because they made a detailed video on how to do it, and I could reach out to them for any other support. I've never done a Model 3. All right, so I did watch the full video. I'm not gonna make a full video on it. I'm gonna talk about some things. I'll give you some tips. I'll talk about some of the more challenging parts. I'll really just review if it's doable or not, or you should just, go pay and get it done by somebody else. So I'm gonna be real with y'all, but I'm excited to do it. I did have to remove my front lip, my Cyber Beast badge, the spoiler. Now I picked up all of these tools like my heat gun, and other little equipment here and there that's going to help me throughout this over the years. I can link to some things at Amazon just to get you started, but definitely heat gun is necessary. Something else, baby shampoo is necessary. You're going to need 2 different types of solution, a slip solution and a tack solution. But what I used the last time, here's my slip, here's my tack. What I used last time was this paint protection film installation gel by 3M. And I really like this because once you lay it on, it's more thick, right? Once you lay it on, the panel pieces stay up. They don't slide around too much. And it really does help. They say it's for beginners, which I am, but I heard professionals use this as well. See, look, it even says for professional use only. So I highly recommend you spend a little bit extra and get this. And I'm gonna walk you through some of the more challenging parts and just basically how to get yourself started. Set time aside because yes, it's gonna take a while. And also you have to make sure that you understand it won't be perfect. Prep is probably the most important thing of all. If you have a covered area, it'd be great. What I did was I blew all the dust and debris out of here as much as possible. I have huskies, I have dog hair everywhere, so I want to get that out. And then I want the area to be as humid as possible. So I wet the ground to get the dust to kind of settle in. And I'm going to do that throughout the process, keep it nice and wet. You have to wash the car thoroughly, and especially you have to worry about the edges of the car because that's where the dirt builds up. When these edges wrap over, you want it to be nice and clean. Look how dirty it gets underneath that. Yeah, you want to do the doors, the front, the trunk. Get it all nice and clean, the best that you can, and then you're ready to go. I have clay barred in the past. I don't recommend it because I'm not that great at it, and you can actually damage the paint. Yes, I leased this, but I still want to protect it because by the time the lease is up, I might want to keep it. And instead of just going with a vinyl wrap, this is the reason why I want a PPF. Little marks like this, right? Little marks, little issues here that could be prevented if I had a full PPF on this vehicle. I want to keep it looking as nice as possible. And when you do it yourself, you save a lot of money. So it's not too much more to, do it yourself. It just takes a lot of time and energy. If you got somebody to help you, that's gonna be a bonus. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so I like how they laid it out right here. I'm gonna start with the hood piece, and it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty neat. I honestly like to cut it out first, so I think I'm gonna cut it out so it's just easier to remove. First thing I'm gonna do is, even though I washed it, I'm gonna use some of that slip solution with the baby shampoo, a little bit of baby shampoo, right? And just get, with the T-wraps, just get any other like last minute debris that's on there. Get it out of there, right? Pretty basic. All right, so I got my gel here now. And again, this is not necessary to have your gel, but I like having it because it's thicker and it holds a little easier, but you need a lot of it, right? You need a lot of it. There it is. Right now, I just put it on. And I like to have this all over it so it's nice and maneuverable. And just like with the Cybertruck, you want it to be just barely over the edges on all sides before you start tacking it down. So I'll start in this corner right here. And if you look really closely right here, you'll see I'll get it right to the edge. Right to the edge, and both of these sides are gonna fold over. So it's right to the edge right here. And I'm gonna make this side right here, I'm gonna perm it up, temporarily perm. I'm gonna get some tack solution. And this basically removes all the soap and all the gel to get it to adhere a little better. So it looks like that. Not perfect yet, but look at that. And now watch my try pull it up, right? It's gonna be a little easier, look at that. Beautiful, and this is all gonna get folded over. So I like to do one side first, get all that off. Then do the same thing to the other corner, just like that. Same amount of room on both sides. And watch this. See, that's pretty even. We want both sides pretty even. Look at that, you see all the soap coming out. You see all the gel coming out. And I think this is gonna come this way a little bit so it's more even. So look how the top, you want the top, I'm gonna come up. I want this top to be basically even with the bottom. That looks pretty good. You see how it's consistently even? That's what you're looking for. I like to start in the middle. This has been my strategy that I've seen. Get a nice, look at that. You want it as even as possible. It won't be perfect, but look, here it is, straight down. There it is. And now you can work it all out. From here, work it out. From here, work it out. And same thing other side. And you're gonna have pockets of liquid under there, especially with the gel. But I wanna work out as much as possible before I perm up those edges, because look at my edges, there's big bubbles here, right? I'm not worried about that yet. Okay, you'll have fingers here and there, these little areas right here, but you continue to work those out. And here's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna pop the front and work it like that. All right, so I opened up that front and all the edges I sprayed with the tack solution to get rid of all of the soap, to remove all the soap and the gel so they can dry and we can fold it over eventually. We move on to the fender next, and you see it has a cutout here And I want to do the same thing. I want to get all the edges even. So I'm gonna do the same thing in this corner right here. Get that even. And then I'm gonna tack it on the end right there. All right, so 3 panels working on right now. Started with the hood, and I think just about right now, this has been sitting long enough. We're gonna go ahead and wrap that because now we did this fender, and I said my wife is helping me a little bit. You notice these fingers right here, I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit, and then I'll come over and even those out. But I'm going like every other panel. So here, here, and now the rear door. And honestly, the rear door is not too bad. Just wanna make sure you get around this handle right. They did come with the PPF for the actual handle, but I think I'll leave it black. I think I'm gonna change my wheels to black too, so I think I'm going with the blue and black look. And you see those fingers all came out. Of course, I gotta work these out in a minute. You know, I'm gonna let the edges dry a little bit before I work those out, but I got this door about 90% done right here. Still working, but look at that. Man, looking good so far. Honestly, it's just time consuming and very detailed, right? But still working, just checking in, letting y'all know the process. And I keep the same procedure every time. Once I lay it down, I do the seam, and then I work my way out, work my way out, work my way out, looking for all kind of bubbles, getting it. And this edge is a little bit longer, you see that? But this door edge is like non-existent. So it goes like right up to it. So it's gonna be, I don't think we tucking that. All right, so this is after day 1. Got the hood, front fenders, both doors on. And we started a little later today than I wanted to because I had a meeting in the morning, and then, you know, I had to wash and prep and all that. But tomorrow I'm gonna try to bang out the rest. All right, day 2 is coming along pretty nicely. So far the hardest part is absolutely this rear piece because it's so long. Once I tack the middle, then I work my way out. And really, you really have to pull and stretch here on the sides to get in. I'm anticipating it's gonna be the same way in the front. Once again, it's not perfect. I got some overlaps because I did stretch it and down there, but we'll see once it dries out how I'm able to tuck it and manipulate it so it looks good. I did this trunk piece. It's probably the best part so far. Came out clean with the tuck. Look at that, tucked under. See it right here, nicely tucked. And I worked these handles a little bit. Got those looking nice. So yeah, I'm feeling good. So here's an example of where the gel comes in big, because I sprayed the gel here and it actually helps it stay up so it doesn't just slide down on the ground. And here's another big piece like the rear. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna start with the middle. I'm gonna get these 2 edges lined up. Then I'm gonna tack it right in the middle right here. And then I'll be able to stretch it as much as I need to. So I'm gonna kind of set it up so you guys can kind of see. So the thing that makes wrapping more difficult is recording it, but that's all right. I want to show you guys that it is doable. So I'm gonna get these sides lined up. And all these little tabs right here tells you it's gonna wrap down. I'm gonna go ahead and they call it anchor. I'm gonna tack this corner down and get it lined up. And then I'm gonna squeegee it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it pretty close, right? Pretty close. And all this, you know, this gel, it's all underneath. And the thing about the gel is you gotta get most of it out. Get that gel out of here. Line it up the best I can and tack it down. Turn it a little bit because it's all about the angle. And the actual angle is going to be more challenging because I'm going to have to pull it So yeah, so I did that side. I think I'm just gonna do the middle now. So it's coming along nicely. I got 2 pieces left. That front piece. And I'm gonna put my carbon fiber side mirror covers back on, so I'm not worried about that. And then this very back piece right here. But most of the car is done. I just need to tuck, clean up a few places, but it's coming along. You just gotta have patience. All right, so this back side, I'm gonna come back and fix this up like I did on the other side, but it's not been a bad process. Just gotta be patient throughout. So I think I'm gonna update y'all once we're done. Officially done with the first DIY Model 3 Highland PPF. And look at that. Oh my goodness. I couldn't have been happier with it. So it ended up taking me 3 days. And even though I said I'm finished, I know for the next few days or a week or so, I might be tucking areas that, you know, come undone, or just tightening down certain areas, especially the, you know, the edges. So I know that's going to be an ongoing thing, especially being a DIY. But overall, look at it, man. Tell me guys what you think. I'm going to basically give you a review of it. I'm going to tell you about the harder parts, what I like, what I didn't like. What I really like was when going through the process of it, all the pieces were laid out for you. I did have to cut them to separate them, but once I did that, you know, it was straightforward. They're big, larger pieces, so it does help to have a table. And I will absolutely watch his video, the video that they've posted on T-Raps, because it's one of, if not the best video that I've seen of any DIY PPF or wrap, because he shows you the mistakes, he shows you how to fix the mistakes, and I did, you know, reference it from time to time, but I kind of went off of some of my own experience too, but I highly recommend you watch that video. But some of the harder parts were definitely this long piece right here. So this is one section, this piece all the way down under there, and what I recommend is you start here, because the rest will just stretch and overhang. I start here and I use magnets to hold it, and then this part overhang, it did overhang here, and I did cut it a little bit. Don't be afraid to cut. Again, I will link to different tools that you can get on Amazon that will definitely help out with the install, but don't be afraid to cut. Take your time with it, and this is definitely doable. Now, I do have some experience with wrapping a Model Y. I did it one time in PPF, and this was a little bit more challenging just because of the more curves, this long piece here, but the front was easier. Now you see this big front, and PPF is essential for this big old fascia. Look at that, because it's a bug magnet. But this part wasn't as hard as the Model Y. Make sure you get the front lined up, and then you squeegee it outside to side and get it nice and even. So that part wasn't so bad. But the other areas are just all the tucking. Now, tucking I definitely need some more practice with. And again, it is not perfect. It's not perfect. If you look close enough, you'll see, like, I still have some things here that I can just, like, kind of, you know, work out still. Some of the edges aren't perfect. If you look closely, you see this, right? It's not perfect. And that's what happens when you do it yourself, right? You're not spending $8,000 to $10,000. You're saving a lot of money, but that's what happens when you do it. I did elect to go with the carbon fiber cover instead of wrapping the windows, and the windows did look kind of hard. But the reason was I want to match the theme of carbon fiber and carbon fiber, and I do have a carbon fiber in my dash. And I did change the letters back here to black. And I did go back and forth about changing my wheels to black, but I kind of like how that pops. But again, here, some of these parts right here, not perfect, and I'm gonna continue to work on these, right? I'm not gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna continue to work on it, just because some areas you don't feel like I said, this was the hardest part, this big piece. And most of it is tucked well, but I didn't have enough material. And he showed a great way to add more material like I did down here. See, I added more material to help it over, and you can barely see that, but down there, nobody's really noticing it. And some of these handles, I need to tuck a little better, but some of the handles came out good, right? And you see when it came to tucking, I'm gonna continue to tuck here. But overall, I did a really good job. Again, not perfect. Look, not perfect, but pretty good. Definitely follow the tutorial and it is doable. So it took me 3 days. Some other areas right here. Again, tucking, I'm not the best at. And I did wash it, so water maybe got underneath it. But again, you can't see that when it's closed. All right here, came out pretty good, not perfect. Underneath here though, I kept messing with this, trying to get it perfect, but it wasn't perfect. I'm not a perfectionist anyway. So the way it looks right now is phenomenal. See, this door handle came out nicely, and I just need to keep working it, right? Find time. I work on it a little bit every day when I get home from work just to mess with it. But overall, look at that. Tell me what you think. I mean, I 100% will do this again, and I recommend other people do it too. Some of the best parts is this PPF. I don't know if it depends on which color you get, but this one already has the oleophobic coating on it, so when I wash it, the water just beat it off. I am still gonna put a ceramic coating on it because I want that extra protection, and I want to make it even easier to wash. I'll do that to all my vehicles. DIY again, super easy to do. Don't pay for that. You can do that yourself. But again, I wasn't going for perfection. I was going for saving thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And to the naked eye, it looks perfect. If you get down close to the nitty gritty and you really look at it finely, yes, you can find some mistakes, right? But I love how you can pick what color you want. I love how there's extra pieces in there to support those mistakes. And I also love how communicative they are. So again, the link is in the description. Tell me your thoughts on this. Do you like my color? Would you even try doing a DIY wrap and PPF? Are you intimidated? Are you willing to get it done? Like, I struggle putting screen protectors on my phone back in the day without the template. So if I can do this, you can do this. Having a second person does help with certain areas. My wife came out and helped out. So you can do it without another person, but I recommend you have magnets. If you have magnets, you can hold it up for you, and using that gel helps hold it up as well. But overall, I really love what I did here, and it looks amazing. Thanks again, T-Raps, and thank you all for watching. Don't forget, Kobra told ya. All right, y'all.